Welcome to Motivation Equation Consulting. Teaching is learning, and learning is teaching. My basketball coach, Harvey Adger, told us in one of his lectures on practice, or on a day we had practice early on a Saturday morning. You know, gentlemen, people say lots of things, and people have criticisms and opinions and so forth and so on. But the main question you need to ask yourself is when someone begins to give their opinion, what are your credentials? Okay. Um I graduated from Louisiana Tech University. Um Before that, I transferred to a couple of different schools. I opened up a very small business. I had some dealings in real estate. I worked for the state of Louisiana. I did some coaching and some ministry work, and eventually, what the conclusion I came to was that I wanted to coach, I wanted to help kids, and the easiest way to do that and get paid more than what I was getting paid working for the state was to become a teacher. So it was really about coaching initially. Once I began teaching, I realized what was going on in the classroom was bigger than what was going on the court. It was more important, more meaningful. I kind of put the coaching behind me and focused more on teaching. And the more serious I got about teaching, the more I realized, okay, some of the things that were going on with how the school was being ran, in my opinion, could have been better. And the way my father taught me was, if something needs to be fixed as a man, you fix it. So I got into school administration. Once I got into school administration, I applied principles that I had learned from the private sector and managing different businesses and from coaching, and I applied those to the research that was presently available for schools to improve, and just a general understanding of psychology. My minor is in psychology, and I found that if you apply certain rules, there's a formula for rating how schools perform in the state that I work in. And lo and behold, the first year we made a couple of gains on our school performance score. The principal I was working for at that time decided he wanted me to focus on academics, and he was going to handle school discipline and school operations. And that particular school went from a D rating to a B rating in 1 year. The next school I worked at, I was given a strictly disciplinarian role. Again, I applied some principles, this time more so from coaching and from ministry work than necessarily die-hard teaching research. And what I found was that we saw significant improvements in school discipline. And then I got my first job as a principal. So I took everything that I learned and put it all together. And that school saw a 1 letter grade performance score increase from a D to a C. Now, both of these schools, mind you, that we saw these types of improvements in were perpetually D-rated schools in places where it was thought that improvements couldn't be made, and improvements hadn't been made. And lo and behold, this young kid steps in. Back then I had hair and my beard was still black, although it wasn't that long ago. But here this kid who thinks he's a know-it-all has stepped in, and people were telling him, well, you can't turn that school around, and you can't do this and that. But remember, what are your credentials? So I am back in the classroom, and I love teaching, by the way. And I work on other projects on my own time, and I apply what I've learned to teaching and to life in general and to other projects. I hear teachers saying that they're burnt out and people don't want to go into the profession, but I've experienced success in the classroom and as an administrator. And I don't see the need to burn out. I don't feel that way. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm better than anyone else. I just have a different perspective, in my opinion. I think education is a wonderful field. Good people are needed in it. And the information I want to share is to help teachers and to help administrators be successful, which is in turn helps who I really want to help, children. So on this channel, you'll hear me talk about things that educators can do involving childhood psychology, administrative practices, school discipline, dealing with parents, dealing with other teachers, making the best of situations that may not seem to work in your favor, avoiding teacher burnout, tips for new teachers, even tips for parents if you wish to improve the academic performance of your own child, and some other thoughts in general related to the field of education. The reason I say teaching and learning is teaching, I'll explain that also. It's just a wonderful place to be in where you enjoy what you do and you get to do what you like for a living, because work doesn't feel like work at that point. Education is truly a joy for me, and I hope I can make it more joyful, or maybe easier, or just give some more educators some tools that they can put in their toolbox. We like to borrow things from each other, so I'm going to give as many freebies and as many items and as many methods, or whatever the case may be. I even have some stories to tell also. So if any of that interests you as an educator, please subscribe. Please consider sharing the channel to other people who you may think that they may find the channel interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching Motivation Equation Consulting. Teaching is learning, and learning is teaching.